Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Okay, so here we go with part two. And I know part one, I was hopping from topic to topic, but for me, this is a complex issue and scenario because, well, one, I have a disability. I am living the life as someone who I grew up undiagnosed. Doctors kept blaming me, family kept blaming me, like people at either jobs or school or whatever turned around and blamed me, and everything circled back to the doctors. And then I went through a lot of trauma from my mother, especially. And so, while trying to figure out who I am in my identity, and I'm not saying that my disability is my identity, but it is part of who I am, especially like with how I walk and the needs that I may need and the my view of and definition of independence for me is going to be different from other people. Other people are not going to look at a elevator the same way. A lot of them are going to look at it because they simply don't want to take the stairs. I look at it like I kind of can take the stairs, but it's not a pretty picture if I take the stairs. And it's like even a wheelchair ramp, I look at that at like differently than other people. And so, okay, even applying for jobs, I like, and I've given you guys some examples, even in the last episode, but when jobs or the buildings don't have the elevators or the ramps, or like even with their flooring. I mean, I've worked at companies where there are ditches in the floor and stuff, and like just having to rush around, I would have to just in my head remember, like, okay, watch your step, do this, blah, blah, blah. And then with when I did promotional modeling, having to be model ready, is like wearing heels and stuff, but I had to wear thick or like thicker heels. But then some jobs told me, or some of the promotion like companies told me, you can't wear those. Those aren't model ready. They have to be thinner. So then, or I would have to wear black flats or like the traditional type of work shoes and stuff like that. But then when I tell them I can't, they tell me I have to need a doctor's note, but the doctors tell me that there's nothing wrong with me and it's my fault. So then I am the one that ends up with bleeding feet, sore feet, bruised feet. I remember there was one promo when I was done with it, and it was out of state. And I remember getting back to Michigan, and like after I got home and I unpacked, it's like dodging my mother. Oh my gosh, I died, like, yeah, but anyway, I went straight to the bathtub to soak my feet. They hurt so bad. And it's just like the amount of times I've had to do that. But then with being a promotional model, I'm plus size. I'm a thick girl, you know. But it's like either I was put down because of my weight, or because a lot of them said I was trying to be something that I was never going to be. And I never knew what that was, because I'm like, okay, well, do you mean management? Do you mean a leader? Like, because if that's the reason, why not? But at the same time, I'm just like, I was working on my master's, and a lot of them, like, I will never know because I don't talk to any of them. I'm friends with them on Facebook, but I don't talk, like, I have no need to talk to any of them because majority of them were conceited, awful, and a lot of them are Christians too. That's the funny part. They'll be Christian, But when it's time to apply for work, when it's time to get a promo and then they find out I'm working it and that the company is willing to buy a rental car for me, all of a sudden they want to be my best friend because they want to be in the other seats in the rental. They don't want to give me gas money. They don't want to buy me lunch. They want to be, oh, you can't waste all of that car space. You're not going to need it all. You can put your bag in the trunk. Like they would say all this other stuff. But it's like they didn't know that I already knew. They didn't like me. They liked that the companies trusted me. They liked that the companies kept hiring me because I could get the rentals, depending on the promo. Not every promo. But I know going to Kentucky and Indiana and Minnesota and Chicago and Ohio. It's exciting. Yeah, I have sided with like I've been through quite a few promos in Ohio where I ran into some racism. Some good old fashioned bigots in Ohio. I mean, and they're all around the U.S., but the ones in Ohio are like a different breed. They're just, ooh, and it's like, because remember, yeah, that's where that jerk of a vice president is from, and the whole cats and dogs, and you guys actually, well, the bigots actually believe that garbage, yeah. So anyway, it just got to a point where whenever I was trying to move up to the next level, and because I did promotional modeling for like 10, 12 years, and I got my first master's in teaching and training with technology. And then I finished my MBA in internet marketing. And so I was making sure that I had the qualifications and I had the experience. And companies kept saying they were impressed with me. But then a lot of them kept asking, why do you walk like that? Do you expect us to think that you can get on and off a plane safely? And the thing is, like, I'm still trying to learn. Like, I learned that it's such a big deal, like with the airports and lawsuits and stuff like that. So they have to be so careful, especially going from one state to another. But it's like, yeah, they always brought up the airplanes because I was really close with a few of the positions. It always came down to them seeing me face to face and me walking, like, because sometimes I just wished, I'm like, can I be in the room before them so they don't have to see me walk? And I know they're probably going to see me walk away, but at least, can I at least have an interview where they don't bring up or ask me, like, why do I walk like that? Can I at least, have a clean, nice, like, interview where I can just be at ease? I mean, when I walk out, I mean, they're probably still not going to hire me because they see it, but at least they won't be able to ask me the ignorant, terrible, bigoted, ableist questions about it. But yeah, that never happened. I always got the, why do you walk like that? What's wrong with you? Why don't you go to the doctors? Why don't you get yourself fixed? And when I answer doctors say nothing's wrong with me, I'm still trying to, and sometimes getting cut off. Well, if there's nothing wrong with you, then you you need to figure out how to walk right. You need to, like, because one even said I need to start going to a therapist. And I was like, oh, you remind me of my mother. Because my mom said the same exact thing. My mom was trying to, and this is kind of off topic, but it leads back to the topic. My mom threatened so many times that she was going to schedule an appointment at that, like, 'cause our church has like therapists, and that was a heck no square. No way. That was never gonna happen. Like, the therapist there, no, not at that church. It's like, because this is when I was already starting to realize the brainwashing going on at my church, in my opinion. And so, and listening to the sermons and how, like, the ableism, the hatred for this, like, and they might, they in my all of this is in my opinion, but there's so many times where it just felt like they were blaming the person with the disability. And if someone wasn't healed automatically after our bishop laid hands, it was just like, that means you don't believe. And it's just like, what are you talking? Like, what? And the therapists are kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like a spitting image of what the pastor or bishop would say. And no, it's like I was already starting to find out that, like, I didn't know it was a full blown disability, but I knew something was wrong, but I had no idea what it was because no doctors would help me, support me, to do tests or anything. Everyone just kept telling me it was my fault. And so trying to get jobs, it was like they were thinking it's my fault. And they didn't want to hire me because they were like, if you can't even walk right, and if you don't even know what's wrong with you, and oh, there was a marketing position for an auto company, and he even said, he was like, how can we even rely on you if you can't walk right? And he was like, and it's one thing if you knew what's wrong with you, but you're telling us you don't even know what's wrong with you. And I know I finished one of my masters because he mentioned, he was like, you have all of this education and you can't even tell us what's wrong with you. Yeah. And so part of me just wonders, what does someone either with a disability, or I didn't even, like, I touched a little bit on race in the last episode, but being black and having a disability, oh, the ignorant, awful, poorly educated, bigoted questions I get asked every single time. And then, but then the crazy part is when I do get the jobs, the few times when I do get the jobs, people turn around and tell me you only got that job because you're black. You only got that job because they felt pity on how you walk. Because I remember when I was doing promotional modeling and I got like some of the better promo jobs and positions. It wasn't management or anything, but it was slowly getting up to the leadership board. Like, they were hating on me. Oh, they probably felt bad for you. Since you're not shaped like a Barbie like me, they probably thought if you didn't get this, you probably won't get any work. You won't get anything. Don't you wish you looked like me? Oh, and I was about to say your name too, because I am that petty, but I'll save it for. There's one novel that I'm like, oh, her petty, no good, conceited, selfish, conniving. Yeah, I'll put her in that one. So, but back to, like, I'm gonna have a lot of examples, probably with promotional modeling life, because I learned a lot about deceit and how desperate and how much people use you. Because I one of my first promos was with Starbucks, and I was on the Starbucks team and everything. I think I was on that team for about 3 or 4 years, something like that, 3 or 4. But it's like a majority of the team stayed on throughout as well. Like, well, at least several, several of us. But I know there were, like, when I work hard, and some people looked down on me because of how I walked, or some people, they blamed me or said, and I remember there was this older woman that worked one of the seasons, and I don't know what happened during, I want to say we were in Ann Arbor or Lansing, but we were in one of the huge college cities. It was like a festival or fair going on, like something going on with tons of activities and fair food, whatever. But everyone was exhausted, and it was such a hot day. And I remember I was on the truck, I was making the coffee, I was making the materials and the whips and doing all that stuff. And I would get out the van, like when they needed me off of it or whatever to help serve or whatever. But and like and my our manager, our boss, is like she organized and put everyone their positions or whatever. But at the end of the night, I'm cleaning the van and stuff, and it's like all of a sudden everyone starts just arguing. And I remember my boss and I are looking at each other like, what in the actual world is going on? And the older woman on our team that year, she looked me right in the face, and I was like, part of me was like, I don't remember including myself into this, but she was just like, "There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Like you're making it up. You just want an excuse. You just want pity. You just want attention." And I'm like, where's all this coming from? But then I'm like, this must be what everyone says about me behind my back. And that's one reason why, like, when I say I don't know why people hated me or disliked me so much, but it's like sometimes when people say what, when they get mad or something, all of a sudden that's the stuff that comes out. I'm like, okay, so maybe everyone thought I just wanted attention, and they thought that I was going to steal a position by faking walking oddly or whatever. And like, I don't know, it's just like I feel defenseless because it's like, and I mean, there were some people who were even saying that I was making it up, that I was in grad school or college or whatever. And parts of me is just like, why would I make that up? And when we're traveling out of town in like Philadelphia and different states and cities or whatever, it's like I would love to have adventured out and checked out different sites and things like that. But I had to stay in the hotel and work on homework and work on papers, study for tests. But some of them actually thought I was making it up. I'm like, what kind of person would like make it up to the point where they're dragging extra textbooks, having to have an extra bag for your school materials and laptop? What kind of person would have to stay in the hotel all night instead of like, I mean, there's introverts and there's some people who they don't care to see the cities. I love looking at different, like, even cities have different cultures and atmospheres and things like that. And I love that. And I would have loved to go out there and see it, but I had a job to do, I had work to do, I had a goal. I wanted to finish my second master's, or my first and second master's. So, but it's like, but once my walking got so bad, when I kept trying to find like marketing and advertising positions in the like business offices or whatever, it always got down to my walking. And so it's like one reason why when people say DEI, though that's just woke. Oh, it's like you only got that position because of DEI. I keep getting denied. I keep getting denied. I told you guys about the university. I it's like I got hired. They hired me because they didn't see me walk. Once he saw me, he scooted his ugly butt, like he was ugly too. And when I say ugly, ugly heart or ugly spirit, ugly personality, but sometimes it just might be ugly, but you're never gonna know which one I mean. So, but he scooted his ugly butt out, and he was just like the way he was looking at, like he looked at my walker the entire time. The entire time just looked at my walker. It was so obvious. And to the point where I was just like, I told you I had a disability. And he kind of shook, like he kind of realized that I saw him look staring. But yeah, he ignored, like, and especially as a dean, as someone who's supposed to be a leader of a school, it's like if you have the immaturity, if you're so inept and just like culturally stupid to the point where you're literally going to treat like, 'cause, okay, if you're going to not want to hire me for another semester because you feel uncomfortable having people with disabilities teach your classes, then boo, do your thing. Like, just say it to my face. You know, clearly, clearly you're not capable. Like anything else, I was like, if he's never gonna listen to this, but clearly he is inept, incapable. He's no leader. In my opinion, he was just a idiotic doofus who, it's like he had this label, this title, but it was only for his basic white man privilege. So, but and that's one reason why it's like the dean, the dean for the master's program is a black woman. So I'm just like, okay, I feel better. I feel a little better. At least I could be that petty. Where I'm be like, okay, at least your basic butt is where it needs to be. So because if you can't do your job and treat everyone fairly, because I know I'm not perfect, or I know that it's like if you're gonna judge me based off of how I walk, but it's like throughout the semester, I was supposed to at least have a guest person come in and observe me teach. But once he saw me walk, it's like I heard that they said they had no need to have a guest person come to my classroom. So I already knew I wasn't going to be teaching another semester. So I was just like, you know what, then I'm going to do what I want to do in the classroom then, because it's like you're not going to even come and like, yeah, that was just infuriating to say the least. You're going to treat me like, and that's okay, I'm probably going to, well, I'll probably do it under another title heading or whatever, because I can have part 3, 4, 5, probably even part 20. But I just feel like now that we've lost DEI, and companies can literally say, or they can literally not hire you because of your race and disability. Save us time. If you don't want to hire people with disabilities, put it in the description. If you don't want to hire black, if you don't want to hire women, put that into the description. Because now that it's illegal to sue someone for not hiring because of that, save us time, because it takes like sometimes hour, multiple hours to fill out one application. And I know of jobs because an example from I think I've mentioned this. There's actually 3 companies that have done this before, but there was one company where I interviewed and they were ready to hire me. They said they were ready to hire me. They just wanted me to come to the office and things like that. But then I got a notification, like after the phone call, about a hour later, get a notification on my phone that the company looked at my LinkedIn profile and everything's the same on my LinkedIn, but they could see a picture of me. Yeah, they called back either later that day or early the next morning telling me there was no need for me to come in, that they're going to fill the position with someone else, and for me to have a good day or whatever. And when I said, oh, why the change of plans? And it's like they couldn't come up with anything. But it's just like, so you looked at my profile and like my education, my experience, everything else is the same. But I guess they want to see what I look like. And it's really sad, but I've learned from, especially with technology and things, but even from younger generations, or a younger generation, where like black students, like when they start applying for job, they erase, or they don't erase, but they're able to ghost and hide all of their social media so that companies can't look them up and find that they're black. So then they have at least a higher chance of trying to get more positions, or because certain companies, once they see your profiles and they see that you're black, they don't want you at all. And I've encountered this so much, but it's like I didn't like, and it's crazy because a lot of people, but you're so light skinned. It doesn't matter with you. It's like you're so, I'm like, shut up. Okay. People say, oh, there's no such thing. Oh, that's a comment, not a question. But that's a stupid comment. I'm still black. I still face racism like constantly. Either I'm not black enough, or I'm black or too black, or I rarely ever get the too black. But for some people, as long as you have one drop, that's too much. Or with my eyes, people can tell that I have some Asian in me. And so, yeah, it's like there was literally one guy who we matched and on a dating app, and no, actually, no, I have a job example. Because one of the guys was just like, no wonder you're so smart. With eyes like that, yeah, I see it. And I was like, excuse me? Because I think I knew what he meant, but I needed for him to say it. And he was just like, oh, well, he was like, with your complexion, your eyes, he was like, you look like you have Asian in you, right? What does that have to do with anything? And that's when he froze. That's when he froze. And so, yeah, it's like, because even with dates and stuff, well, I'll get to the dating on a different episode, but real quickly, I'll at least, like, okay, everyone out there, don't fantasize about just certain parts of somebody. It's like, I mean, if it's a kink or whatever, okay, do you, boo, but it's like, 'cause I've had men tell me that they only wanted to date me because of my eyes. And especially with some black men, they said, oh, if I could have a baby that looked like me with your eyes, or with a slant in the eyes or whatever. And then I'm looking at them like, are you stupid? Are you stupid? Like, that's the only reason. Okay. But then when I say, okay, well, you have a great life, I hope you find, then they call me out my name. And it's like, you literally only want to, well, either they only want to date me because I don't have any baby daddies, or because of my eyes, or sometimes my light skin. They're like, oh, I hope they get your skin. I hope it's on your side of the family. I'm like, wow. Mm, um, how many levels of stupid can, but yeah, so don't do that. And job interviews, don't do that. You would be surprised how many times, either with my eyes, or how many times I'm asked, "Oh, which one of your parents are white?" Because I'm pretty light complexion, and or well, I'll stop it from there, but yeah, so I'll probably do an episode all about appearance and stuff like that at job interviews, because on top of them seeing me now with a walker and a wheel, or not a wheelchair, I have my scooter. Yeah, the ignorance just blazes through, and it's pretty obnoxious, and like, for me, embarrassing, because I'm like, are you guys really this crazy? Are you really this stupid? Are you really this ignorant? Really? But thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too. But yeah, jobs, just tell us who you want so we don't have to waste our time. Bye.